What's going on, everybody? Chase Lawson coming back at you with another episode of the Financial Freedom Show, where I make personal finance simple. So let's get started with another topic. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so and hit that notification bell as well so you're always alerted when a new video drops. Alright, great. So today I want to touch on a very important topic, one that involves mindset, and that is to know your worth. So what do I mean when I say know your worth? Well, your time is very valuable. As the expression goes, time is money. And in any situation, you can really only do one thing at a time, so your time certainly does come at a premium. Yes, you could argue that you could multitask, but others would argue that when you multitask, you're really not giving your all to any one task. So is it really worth it? So how do you determine your worth? Well, for one, you can use your job to help. If you're paid hourly, that is how much the company views your worth for 1 hour of your time. If you're paid an annual salary, you can easily calculate this by just removing the 3 zeros on the end and dividing by 2. So if you're paid $50,000 a year, your worth is $25 an hour based on a typical 40-hour work week schedule with 2 weeks off per year. Depending on how many actual hours you work in the year, that may need to be adjusted up or down, but that calculation should give you a rough approximation of your hourly rate. As I mentioned, that is a good approximation of your worth. After all, you accepted the job at that rate, so at the time, you viewed that as a worthwhile endeavor. However, if you value your time more, you may need to ask for a raise or find a new job. Otherwise, you are devaluing yourself by going to work. Every decision you make has an opportunity cost. If you choose to do one thing, you're essentially choosing not to do an infinite number of other things with that time. Now, different jobs or situations may carry different rates for you. For example, some people highly value time with family or time spent volunteering for charities. For these people, that time for them may be worth a lot more than what they're paid for at work. As a result, for them, in order to justify them spending that time doing something other than spending time with family or volunteering, they have a much higher threshold for what an acceptable alternative use of that time would be. Essentially, every second of every day, you're making a decision, whether or not you consciously know it, of what you deem the best use of your time. But the issue is, it isn't always the best use of your time, especially if you haven't weighed out what you're potentially giving up and haven't thought about the opportunity cost. Now, as I mentioned, different situations result in different values and worth placed on the situation. For example, obviously most people need to work a job for a certain number of hours per week just to live their lifestyle. However, some people choose to take on a second job or a side hustle to bring in extra income. Others more highly value the work-life balance, so for them, they wouldn't want to take on a second job as they want to maximize their free hours that they have for other things. So what are some practical examples of this in real life? Well, for one, you can look at household chores. Think about grocery shopping. Is it worth it to drive to the store, spend time in the store picking out all of your items, waiting in line, checking out, loading up the car, driving home and unloading? Or is it more worth it for you to take advantage of grocery delivery and pay an added fee? That's not for me to decide. That's for you to determine. Is the delivery fee plus markup smaller than the value you place on that time you would spend going and doing it yourself? If yes, do the delivery. If no, go to the store. Another example is things like cleaning the house, mowing the yard, doing laundry, shoveling snow, etc. All of these chores can be outsourced, but obviously they each carry their own costs. What is that time worth to you? Some people enjoy mowing their yard, so for them it's worth doing themselves. For others, like me, I'd rather pay somebody $30 to mow my yard. You probably can't outsource everything, but pick and choose what you want to spend your time doing, as our time is valuable and time is a scarce resource that we only get so much of. Another example is where you decide to live. Would you rather pay more to be closer to work or pay less but have a longer commute? Your commute takes time away from doing other things and honestly should be added to your weekly work hours to figure out your true wage per hour. There's also gas and potentially tolls to factor in as well. When you know your hourly worth, you can use that to determine how much of an increase in monthly rent or mortgage is acceptable based on being closer and based on that difference in time and expenses commuting. Similarly, whenever you travel, is it worth it to you to have a direct flight, even if it's a little more expensive, and save that time, or would you rather save money but have a layover? The FIRE community, or Financial Independence Retire Early, is big on being frugal and cutting expenses, but don't just be frugal to be frugal. Is it worth it to drive a few extra minutes to save a few cents per gallon on gas? Or to go out of your way to save a couple bucks at a different store that you have a coupon to? These decisions cannot be made by me for you. That's the great thing about personal finance. Everything is personal. I can give you advice and make you think certain ways, but at the end of the day, it's your time and it's your money and ultimately your choice. Some weeks you may have more free time than others, so you may choose to do some things yourself those weeks, as it gives you something to do and keeps you busy. Other weeks you may need to outsource everything. Our lives will continue to change and so will our individual worths. So as you navigate through life, constantly reevaluate what your time is worth and make the decision based on all factors considered. It is okay to say no from time to time, whether it's at work or in your personal life. So thanks so much, guys. I hope you use this to help you determine what your time is worth and what's worth spending that time on. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think, as well as what topics you want me to cover in a future video. And once again, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Thanks so much and go get them.